Welcome again to our program with the Galaxy Equalizers on Studio Galaxy 473. The second part of our program, and we must apologize for being a bit late.
Yeah, the late start.
You know,
That's a late one too.
Yeah, the technical skills, sometimes you're fighting to experiment for yourself and everything else. No excuse. We in Grenada always want to make an excuse for being late. We need to apologize when we're late
down the studio
and try it again. Yeah. So we're on again, and this time we're going to speak about the quality of our political representative. We select people to represent us in the House. But what are we looking for? What we should be looking for? What is the quality of a political representative? And with me today, we managed to get Joshua to stay on after the agriculture program. This morning we had Joshua and Abraham and Andrew. And now Joshua is here with your humble servant. And we're going to speak about the quality of our political representative. And remember, the number to call is 410-3030. And you can contribute to that, because we need to provoke discussion in that direction. What is the quality of the political representative that you want? My brothers and sisters, the door is open. Our parliament, our constitution does not recognize political party. It is almost a paradox, because it's difficult for independent candidates to win. The people who are voting in most democracies, particularly in Grenada, do not have much faith in an individual. But the Constitution does not recognize political party. They recognize who could command the majority in the House. And it means that individuals run election with political parties, but is nothing preventing them from identifying with another political party when they win election. This issue about crossing the flow has no legal teeth, because the Constitution does not recognize political party. So some people are extremely disappointed when the political representative cross the flow. So in local parlance, we say cross the flow. But in legal language, really, that is not an issue. So I am of the view that we should have discussion on that. People should discuss in a home. People should discuss on the block. What is the quality you want in somebody who put up themselves to represent you in the House of Parliament? And you have to recognize they are powerful. They make laws. They make policies. They could take a decision to sell the hospital in Grenada to a company outside that is interested in profit making. They could make decisions and pass laws to imprison you if you play jab. They have power. They could decide where you live, where you don't live. They have plenty of power. And I think the time is opportune. The time is correct. The time is right for us to start to discuss what we want in somebody who put out themselves to represent us. What is our political representative? Joshua, you in town long too. And you have had the opportunity to visit many countries. A lot of democratic countries. And you yourself, I don't know if you always satisfied with the representation that we got, or you somewhat satisfied or you dissatisfied. But I think now is a good opportunity for us to discuss about the quality of our political representatives. Yes, my brother.
Yeah. We have representatives who are very good, representatives who medium, and then representatives who are a little bit mediocre. I mean, what are we looking for in terms of our representative? First and foremost, we hope our representative is part of the government. So we want a representative who understand um, what it takes to run a government, whether it's the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Finance, Environment, etc. They must have an understanding, a basic understanding of what it takes to run a country, because collectively they are basically running the business and the business grenadier. And if they don't have the requisite skills, it makes it very, very difficult for the country to move forward. So many people can look at Grenada and say for the past 50 years, progress has been very slow. The representatives who've been around for the past 50 years or so would say, well, look, our roads are better, our electricity works, our water works, and so the country is running well. Our debt to GDP has been lowered, and the claim is that our country is doing well. But to run a country, and what I look for in a representative is, how are you going to help move the community forward? How are you going to help to move the country forward? What is it in your community that needs changing? What is your assessment? How are you going to approach it? What are the processes you're going to use to affect change? Now, it seems like it's much easier to kind of have a constituency surgery and somebody wants some milk or for their baby, or somebody wants some building material, so that they could start building a house. So it seems that the focus, seems to be on minor things, not really developing the country or developing your community. I think they used to call it bread and corned beef or something kind of politics. Um, so what we have as a result, you hear many people saying, "Oh, I just love the man." I just, what do you love about the man? What has the man done? So to a larger extent, we have personality politics instead of politics that transform a community, that makes it better, that invests in people development and moves away from the dependency that a lot of people talk about. A lot of people talk about creating a dependency culture, and what they mean is basically waiting on your representative from your constituency office to give you a little piece of that or a little piece of that, a bit of road works or some material, etc. And I'm not saying those things are not important, but the caliber of representative we all aspire to have is, as Grenadians sometimes say, those individuals tend to be not born yet, and their mother is already dead. So it becomes very difficult. And what makes it worse for our representative is that our civil servants tend to be very slim. So a lot of bigger countries depend on the civil service in terms of providing the knowledge, in terms of moving things forward. So, even though your representative in your local community, might not be up to par, but generally, you could afford in the bigger societies to have, a team that's paid to help you get it right. But small island developing states, 108,000 people, we don't often have the financial basis in which to invest and to get things right. Right. So our representatives tend to have to do everything, and that makes it an impossible task. And quite often, when you look at representatives' background, you can see that willingness and is not ableness. So a lot of people are willing and they like the idea, and some of the politicians have even gone as far as to say this is the best job they'll have in their life. They'll not get a better job than the one and better pay, and therefore their interest is really on keeping the job, not developing the community or developing the country.
Perhaps that is why we have to zero in and people have to ask themselves, what do I want in my representative?
Yeah, and those are powerful questions that we're not used to
Asking ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you support John Galt to run for St. Andrews Northwest? Why?
Yeah, I like the man.
I like the man. He's a good man. And obviously, that's a very powerful statement. I like him, and he's a good man.
Yeah. Oh, so what about his record? Has he achieved anything in his life, in his business? Has he got a little bit of education to be able to kind of lead? Does all these questions ignored? Is there some kind of financial skills that he has that will help manage the country?
Sometimes they say he always help me. And he's a good man in the community.
Yeah.
And he used to make up papers for me.
Yeah.
In the ancient days, they go to people to make paper and paper affidavits and all kind of thing. But they say he's a good man.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the community, he settles disputes.
Yeah.
So they say he's a good man.
Yeah. And the reality is, without condemning anybody, the task of representation is an enormous task. And for the best qualified people in the world, they would struggle, yet alone people who are ill-equipped to serve.
And some of the most intelligent people in the world, very few have gone into politics. They have not done well in politics. Eric Williams is a very intelligent person. A lot of the prime ministers in the Caribbean was not very bright. Some of them was lawyers, some of them struggled in law school. They studied for 4 years and they come back and then was not even successful as lawyers. But the community have a qualifier. That is a good man.
I like him.
And that's powerful. He's a good man.
Yeah.
I remember a woman saying there was only 2 people in this community I was supporting politics. And she used to consume some liquor. So she was a favorite among discussion. Although she did not used to participate much in the discussion. But she said there's only 2 people. And everybody turned back to her. Why? And she said that was the 2 most respectful young people to her. They was called her Miss. And she said they always speak good to me. And sometimes they just give me things. So from her point, the community did not respect her because she consumed a lot of alcohol and she was very helpful to the community. But the community did not respect her. So they would use the most derogative term to address her. But she said these two young men, always very respectful to her. And that is powerful. That is what she saw. She wanted people to respect her, although she was a strong consumer of alcohol and she was very helpful to the men. But she still wanted them to have some respect for her. So that was an important point.
Yeah, you know, I don't think people know what they're voting for when they vote for a representative.
They want a good man. You know, the thing is, our psychologists or scientists have not evaluated and qualified what is a good man. If you ask people in the community on a scale of 1 to 10 to choose good men, you're surprised to know who the community might choose.
Yeah.
Because some guys, they may not choose their friends. I remember one woman looking for a godfather for her child. And the father of the child named about 10 men. She said, no, they don't good. And they were his friends. So how you could say good? She said, they have children, they don't taking care of them. They have plenty women. They're running. They're not treating their wife good. They're beating people, they're fighting. She said they are your friends, but they're not qualified to be my child's godfather.
Wow. Well, that sounds like a sensible person.
You know, so what do we mean by good?
She has a criteria.
She has a criteria. Not because I'm taking you. Don't mean your friends good.
Don't mean your friends good.
She wanted somebody else.
Yeah.
She wanted somebody else in the village. And she sent him to somebody. Go and ask this man to be a god.
Yeah, yeah.
And the man he was going to wasn't his friend. But his woman insists to be her child. So a good man. What is a good man?
Yeah.
What do you want in a representative? In yesteryear, people gravitate to people who fight for their cause.
Yeah.
They stood up for them.
Yeah, somebody who would build a community center or a little half a mile of road or
some people help to solve problems. When the people were challenged, they stood up and go and talk on their behalf. They went to Massa for them. They went and talk.
Yeah.
So you can't do the woman so. You can't treat the people so. And the people select him as a leader. Sometimes they say what they say very good. And good could mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
Depends on who you are.
Because we want a vision. You know, when we choose a representative, we want a visionary person, somebody who could deal with like the school fees for your children, but also can kind of see where the country is going to be going in the next 50 years. So, you know, it's difficult. You want practical day-to-day kind of skills and problem solving. And then you want the vision to move the country forward, and not many representatives have that. And I think, you know, I don't know how the political party choose their representative.
Well, the political parties will choose representative based upon winnability.
Yeah.
So you see, they come back. Some of the political leaders are savvy because they have to sell the representative. If you have sometimes they're so desperate, they choose a man and they spend so much money trying to sell him, and they can't succeed because he's not sellable.
No.
Yeah, he take advantage of the people in the community. He never mind a child.
And he doesn't have the likability
He screw the women and he's like a mandarin.
Yeah.
They say he mouth bad. The women, they say this man no good, he mouth bad. You know? And he's very vulgar.
Yeah.
So the people don't see him as suitable to represent them. He might be articulate. And he might be well known. But they say he's a man of low principle.
Yeah.
The women say he hand fresh, he hand fast.
He hand
So
fast.
there are two terms they use. The women say the man hand fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they mean when they say the man hand fast?
Mm.
You don't know?
Yeah.
The man
Yeah,
like to
no,
beat woman.
Yeah.
He hand fast.
Yeah.
And they say this old man fresh. You know what I mean when they say that? Yeah, he like to interfere with them girl and them.
Yeah.
They say he fresh man.
Yeah.
The old man fresh.
The old man.
That is big man fresh.
Yeah.
So the village have their own terminology
Mm-hmm.
to determine the quality of the individual you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The constitution provide
Mm-hmm.
that person supposed to be able to read.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be able to
That's
read.
a prerequisite?
Yes.
All right.
They didn't say how much. Because in yesteryear,
They should be able to read.
a man had to be able to read. And even though the basic requirement is not certification, the man must have the ability to fill up the form, sign his name,
Mm-hmm.
and he must have 6 witnesses. I think it's 6 or 12.
Okay.
So if you go in and sign up to be represented, you must have about either 6 or 12 persons to say,
Mm-hmm.
I agree. You know?
Mhm.
And that the people must come from the constituency
Yeah.
to vouch for you. So
Mhm.
that again is a requirement.
Yeah.
And some people want people of good character. You don't want a man who is a thief,
Mm-hmm.
a known thief in the community. People you might not able to say that one thiefing.
Yeah.
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 So now he thief once, they say he thief long ago, but
Mm-hmm.
they strip, you see, but he mightn't thief again. Yeah?
He's shown remorse and changed
Yeah.
his ways. Yeah.
Yes. What do we need? What quality we need? Because as the society gets more sophisticated,
Mm-hmm.
you have more requirements.
Yeah.
People want a representative that could perhaps manage, have a ministerial position.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Almost all the reps have a ministry in
Yeah.
terms of the party, because I know NNP had won all the seats maybe 2 or 3 times.
3 times.
3 times, and therefore, they could kind of manage. But most of the time, parties win, 8, 9 seats, so they don't have enough representative for all the ministries. So um, you'd have people needing to have that ability to manage large organizations, and it's not easy, and the kind of level of skills that you need to do that is quite daunting.
And a lot of times, parliamentary representatives want to get involved in micromanagement.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because you are a minister, you want to micromanage. You are more there for policies.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole policy bits, tend to break down. Maybe the way that it works is the prime minister is the policy person, and everybody else kind of do a degree of micromanagement. Maybe that's the way that it works, because certainly in terms of qualities and representatives, over the years, people come and people go. So maybe it's a little bit luck and chance as well. But the quality that you want somebody with a bit of integrity, a bit of life skills, knowledge. If you can, you want somebody with a background of achievement, that they can tell you, okay, I want to be your representative. These are the things that I have achieved in the past, and if I'm elected, I'm likely to already have the foundational skills to move the country forward. These are the agendas that I want to do. I want to make sure that all our roads across the island in a workable condition within, 2 years or so. So people who have a little bit of vision and integrity and knowledge and a skill, but what's important is somebody with a track record of success.
You use
Because
an
that
insisting
shows
word, the
that you.
integrity.
Yeah.
Does that play an important part?
I think it should do, but it doesn't really play an important part. I think likability tends to overshadow that any day. But integrity is what matters, but people overlook that if they know the person. As they say, the likability factor, it's it's important. You ignore all the evidence because you like the person.
Because you have likability, you have winnability.
Mm.
You say that man is a good man. He has in the community, very sociable. A lot of people know him.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
say
a
he could
strong
win.
following.
And he has a strong following.
Mm-hmm.
And he has some influence.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the man is not a good spokesman. In the
Mm-hmm.
past, we had Arlene Williams with the Grenada United Labour Party and the Erigeri.
Mm-hmm.
They used to call him the Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
The Gary would just call him on the stage to take a bow. Say, take a bow, take a bow, take a bow. Hold on, that is enough, that is enough. The guy who gave Arlen a chance, he bowed the whole day.
That's funny.
And Arlen Williams was perhaps over 6 feet, and they call him the Lamb.
Mm.
Not much used to come from his mouth.
Yeah.
He was educated, he could have read and write, he was
Mm.
literate, and he had property.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was generally considered as a good man,
Mm-hmm.
but they call him the Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had another politician that says, say a few words, just a few words. Just a few words, okay, give him my hand.
That's Uncle Gary, that's Uncle
Yeah.
Gary.
Because everybody know if he speak too much, you're going to put the party in trouble. So you have had politicians who hardly could speak,
Mhm.
but people believe that's a good man and they had good winnability.
Yeah, they're effective. Mm.
What is it we want in our political representative?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't want a crook. Most people don't want a crook. They don't want a thief.
But-
But how do you know a crook?
Mm.
Because this one is a challenge.
Mhm.
So this is why some political parties, if you are interested in politics,
Mhm.
they say go out and go around the community. So they want to show you name
Mhm.
in the constituency.
To see what
Because
happens.
people might know a lot of things about you
Mhm.
that other people don't know.
Mhm.
They say, no, we can't use this man. This man he tried to rape a school child when he was a teacher.
That one gambling.
Mm.
So nobody knew that. Because that might have been settled, you know.
Mm.
Said, no, we don't want this man. And then immediately that name disappeared from the political party. Sometimes a woman name is thrown in. She says she's a good, nice woman, man. But she was too helpful when she young. They used to call her self-help when she was young.
Oh.
So one time, her family and husband begged her, don't put your name there.
Mm.
So that is one of the strategy
Mhm.
political leaders use.
Mhm.
When somebody come to them interested in running, they say go outside in the community and go around. In other words, show your name in the community.
Mhm.
Let me see what
Let me see what happened to your name. And sometimes very quick you have to pull them out. Because people know you used to stone Miss Mary when you was to school.
Yeah.
You used to pelt stone behind the woman.
Oh dear.
You know?
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
And so all these things help the society to determine whether you're a good person or not. What quality of political representative you want? There are some people that say, we're going cussing, you can't go to pray. That's another terminology the village use.
When they're going cussing.
You can't go to pray. So Maurice Bishop would have been one of these type of individuals. They were such great orators. They had so much charisma that what they could have get away with murder. So people say, boy, where this man going cussing? You can't go pray. The public was not so harsh in investigating it. So you had Maurice Bishop was one of the individuals that was very popular when he come in politics, very charismatic, and a great orator. So people was very defensive and protecting him. And you didn't know much about him because these individuals came from parents with discretionary income and they went to study early. So whatever exploit that they had in university, the average Grenadian did not know.
Yeah.
And they got married. That was a good trait again. The man is a good man, he married.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that is not so important. People get more liberal.
Liberal?
They get more liberal where marriage and sex is concerned. So even though the man had 50 women or the women had 39 men, people don't bother much about that.
I thought churchy is better.
Well, churchy don't seems to be carrying much weight now. In yesteryear, they say the man is a good man, he has go to church.
Yeah.
But now churchy don't seems to be carrying much weight. The secular world have diluted the significance of a lot of religious. What do we want? What is the quality of the individual? In Grenada context, a number of people were able to hide their true self. Ideology. In the 70s, communism. People used to say Castro is a wicked man. And when I say why, they say he banned Christmas. We never know whether that was true or not. But they say Castro banned Christmas. They say cane must cut. So everybody had to cut cane Christmas time. And the average people say, well, Castro is a bad man. At that time, the individuals pushing ideology.
Pope Castro had nothing to do with banning Christmas, I suspect.
Well, the communists never promoted the church. The communists saw the church as the opium of the people. They say it's like you're on drugs. So they never promote it. So we believe it then, that Castro banned Christmas.
Castro banned Christmas?
Yeah, they say Castro banned Christmas. He say in Cuba, cane had to cut.
Yeah.
So you know. So that was it. Can you see the communist ideology always have confrontation with the church. Hundreds of priests in the Bolshevik Revolution got killed, and they closed down churches, and grass grew in some churches. And in some churches, they try to control the church. For instance, even in China, you have situation that if you want to appoint a bishop, the government has to approve it. You know? And some people, these things. And in places like Iran, where they have a theocracy, Christianity is not significant. Some Muslim countries, you have to pay a special money to practice Christianity.
Is that so?
Yeah, and you cannot be seen with a Bible. and you cannot be converted. You can't convert a Muslim. So if you're dealing with a Muslim, he cannot be converted. If he converted, they're going to kill him. Can't be converted.
So a Christian and a Muslim can.
A Christian could be converted to a Muslim.
A Muslim can be converted
If
to
he
a Christian.
converted, they kill him. They say he can't be a terror. So this
That
is.
sucks.
But in Grenada context, you want to know what a politician stands for. And I believe as we determine the quality of the politician, we're supposed to be able to ask the politician question and he's supposed to answer.
Yeah, that's a fundamental that we should have in terms of.
I'm supposed to ask the
quality.
politician, do you beat your wife? I might add unnecessarily. That should be a fair question a politician should answer.
Yeah.
Do you beat your wife?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have to think, I might add unnecessarily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, is that a fair? That's a personal question. I'm not asking him if he sleep naked on the bed. That might be too private.
Yeah.
But it should be a fair question to ask a politician: do you beat your wife?
And how often?
Do you abuse your children?
How often?
Are you a known individual that practice incest?
Oh, Lord.
This individual is going to represent you.
Yeah, yeah.
And this individual have power to pass laws.
Yeah, these are fair questions.
So
as you say.
while you don't want to ask him too much a personal question, but I find this one you could ask him that. What do you think?
Yeah. I think those are fair questions because it all all leads to your moral, are you a moral person, a person of integrity, a person, who can stand up for right, or when it suits you, you just go down wrong.
I would like to ask you, do you promote marriage? That's another fair question. You're 40 years, you don't marry. That's just, what, are you against marriage? Say, Chief, this one is a joke, but still answer me. Could we be bold enough to ask our representatives some pointing questions?
Yeah.
Because the representative in the constituency, even if you don't know them, the idea that they're running to represent a constituency, they must able to tell you something about them. The plans, not all the personal thing, if you're having sex in the night, how long you last, and you don't want to ask them that.
Yeah.
That's a little too personal.
Yeah.
You know? But you could ask them, do you like man or do you prefer women? Is that a fair question to us politicians?
I think so from a personal perspective, but I could see many who would object to that.
Well, they could object, and I'm taking note of that. Because while I'm not against man marrying man,
I say,
but I'm not against it. But I will not advocate it. And I don't want the person who put in power sneaking laws in the country that tell me of sexual confusion. Because it may well be laws could pass that a group of y'all could marry.
Yeah.
The marriage is a relationship between a man and what is your position? You want to know what is the position of that individual.
Yeah, and you have laws that could easily be changed. Marriage is an agreement between two consenting adults, no longer between a man and a woman.
So we must know. What is the position of corporal punishment? I think that is fair question. Because,
yeah, no, those are fair questions.
Do you believe in euthanasia?
Yeah.
That is mercy killing. You get old or you have terminal illness and they say you're suffering, so help you to die. So they give you an injection and kill your grandmother because she's old.
And she having a poor quality of life.
Your quality of your life is poor. Every day, mommy suffering. One of my friend of mine come in the rum shop and he well vexed. I said, what to him? He said he leaves some people home praying for his mother to heal. He said, Mommy old, Mommy's in trouble. You have to put pampers on Mommy. Mommy crying every morning. These people at home praying for Mommy to live. He said he wants his mother dead.
Yeah. So he hopes that where she goes would be a better place. So.
And the rum shop took strong issue with him. We say, while we know you're going to have a big wake and praise, but let the woman live. He said the people praying for her to heal him. So it's like he afraid should have healed. So he come in the rum shop and he complained.
No.
So these are fair questions, I believe.
Yeah.
We should be able to ask individuals.
Yeah, but the bottom line is that what we want from our representative, they tend to be not born yet. The kind of representative that we want. We struggle, and a lot of countries get by with their civil servants, but you see a lot of people resigning in different countries, but you don't have that so much in Grenada. People do their thing and they don't resign. So that the quality that we want from our representative, it's almost as though people kind of think, well, it don't matter. The boy try best, and but these are some of the most important jobs that we have in the country. To steer our people to a better life, to steer our people to a better standard of living, to make things work and function. And sometimes people who stand as representative barely can function, so it's a challenge.
If they had no history of lobbying on your behalf, and they can't even manage the house, the wife or the spouse beating you up in the house, they can't sneeze. How do they represent you? When you have to lobby, and they are a yes man. Big Sunday, the man at the clothes going and washing the river, and not washing the river, but he's looking as if he vex. So he's looking as if he was ordered to go and wash his bed in the river. Then you have him representative. So the individual is a mama pull from day one. So you select him to represent you.
Yeah, but he's likable.
What is the quality? And I think we have to start to ask ourselves this question.
Mama
Because the world is becoming sophisticated, and you have issue now where big companies or people who have a lot of discretionary income can encourage politicians to jump the flow, to cross the flow, and give them money. And there is no legal hindrance, because the Constitution does not recognize political party. They recognize those who could command the majority in the House. But when you gave your support to the individual, you gave them based upon the party. It's almost a paradox. And that's why it is important for us to discuss the issue. Do you get a commitment from your politician publicly that in the event that you want to cross the flow, although it is legal to do it, you must resign and entertain a by-election?
Well, that's fair. But throughout history, people with power don't give it up. They tend to fight to hold on to it.
But if you want to cross the flow, is it morally, it is ethical, is it decent to come back to the people who gave you the vote and say, based upon all these factors, I think I want to join the other political party, so I need a new mandate from you? Do we have politicians with that level of morality and character and quality? Is it correct for us to demand that? Because you came to me under false pretense.
You could demand that, but you're not gonna get it.
But could we demand it?
Yeah, you could demand
Because
anything.
you are the political. We don't have the power to recall. We don't have the power to recall. But we have empirical evidence that you claim that you're going to resign if you decided to cross the floor and seek a new mandate.
Yeah, but that's the honorable things to do. Very seldom, you see politicians doing the honorable things. They just ride it out best as they can.
People go in the court and they give them the Bible to swear. Some of them say they don't swear. They say affirm. Okay, put up your hand, affirm to speak the truth. And then they line straight. So we know that you could publicly say to people that if I have absolutely no intention, but if it comes to it that I give it consideration, I'll first come back to you to get a new mandate before I proceed.
That makes sense.
Should we as a people believe that is important in determining the quality of our politicians? In a small society like ours, you could lose your vote after you got your vote. You went to election, you voted for John Galt. And after John Galt win, John Galt jumped ship. And he gave you vote to another party for money. How could that be?
For money?
Well, yes, if they give him $260,000 and he decided he's going to cross the floor, he sold your vote for $260,000. He sold your vote for $1 million. How could that be? That's not supposed to be. That is like a paradox. That is like the great pretense. He claimed, John Galt came to you. He expounded on the virtues of his political party. And you voted John Galt because of your political party.
Yeah, and you swear affinity to that, and you say you're going to exercise integrity to toe the line, but something happened, the line
You
break.
got $260,000.
The line get towed.
Or you got $1 million.
What?
And we have to be very careful because look at the government has either signed in a relationship to sign this hospital deal with Mount Sinai. This is a multi-million-dollar project. So obviously, if a company of that magnitude decides, I want this government to continue, and it's a 6-7, a coalition government, it is not difficult for these big conglomerates. That's a good word?
Yeah.
Conglomerates?
Yeah.
These massive companies. Some of these companies are more wealthy than the government of Grenada.
Yeah, by far.
The government budget is just about 2-point-something billion.
No,
The
1
GDP,
point something.
1 point something.
Yeah.
And out of that, they owe 1 point something.
Yeah, they owe. Yeah.
So most of our government budget is running in the red. And it's 1 point something billion. Whereas there are a number of rich people in the world that is billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
$3 or $4 million might be minor.
Yeah, because Elon Musk was giving people $1 million each to vote.
That's what they say?
That's what he was doing in Pennsylvania.
Well, that's okay. Well, yeah. Some people sorry it was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because Pennsylvania was the swing state.
So Elon Musk and there are a number of rich people in the world. Dangote, they say, is the richest man in Africa.
Yeah.
Obayo Glincy, that is another rich man in Africa. They call him Mr. Effort. He owns I think, controlling shares in London Airport,
Yeah,
or Bio
Gatwick.
and Quincy, and
Yeah.
Gatwick.
Yeah.
So you have some guys with money in the world,
Mhm.
even if they're wrong, they still suing you.
Yeah.
Because they say by the time the case finish, you so broken, you begging them for a settlement. They say I take 50,000 and David said, and they were wrong.
Yeah.
So these individuals, if they're interested in, let's say, Ile Kai,
Mhm.
I hope the owners of Ile Kai don't
Mhm.
take tasks with me.
Mhm.
And they heard Ile Kai had diamond.
Mhm.
Ailikai?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just use it.
Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah.
And they decide to buy Ile Kai from the government.
Mhm.
The government say Ile Kai not theirs. They say, oh, just 48 hours it will be yours. They execute the owners of Ile Kai.
And we sell it.
And they give the government $100 million for that.
Wow.
Or they don't even have to do that. What they do, they buy 2-3 politicians to
Mhm.
cross the flow.
Mhm.
You know, when I say these things, sometimes people believe it comes from a joke house.
Mm.
So I always ask them to research 10 of the most corrupt lawyers in the world.
Mhm.
To research
Mhm.
why intelligent people are more likely to take drugs than uneducated poor people.
Mm.
Research these things. Why 20 of the most successful reggae artists in America is in Jamaica either ruin their life in drugs or in jail and crime. Why look for the 20 most R&B artists and celebrities
Mhm.
that is in jail or ruin their life because of drugs. Just follow the Diddy and Puff Daddy and Bad Boy records that going on and see the enormity and the level of the crimes
Mhm.
that are involved where money seems like nothing. So when we're choosing a political representative, what is the quality we are looking for?
First and foremost, we want integrity based on the discussion we've been having, but it seems that integrity gets worn down a little
Watered
bit,
down.
watered down as the kind of money get bigger.
And the integrity get watered down because we ourselves
Mhm.
get watered down.
Mhm.
Because we have to uphold the standard. We are the custodians. We are the ones to sit down and determine for a politician.
Mhm.
If an individual in the community is a strong consumer of drugs,
Mhm.
because he lives in the constituency with you, you're more likely to know what is his strong points and his weak
Mhm.
points. So if you know when he take a coke, Lord have mercy and compassion.
Yeah.
Would you vote for him to represent you now?
Mhm. Mhm.
What's about when he go in Dubai and he get the pure coke?
Get the real thing.
Get the real thing?
Mhm.
Because the coke that you get here, they say it's not the real thing.
No, it's
He water down.
They say it's crack cocaine we get down here.
Crack.
They say we get crack cocaine. But they say the real thing
The real powder.
is much more expensive.
right, right, right.
The weed we get down here,
He do
the
good.
weed we import, it do good.
He do good.
They put formaldehyde in it
Oh, God.
and other drugs to preserve it. So when government say they go legalize weed, ask them what they legalize it.
He do good.
Is it good weed
Mm.
or weed with formaldehyde and other poison?
He do good. He do good.
And you see, if you have a representative that don't want to do research, they're not well lettered.
Mm.
That is the words people used to use yesteryear when they couldn't write.
Mm-hmm.
They say, you know, I'm not well lettered. That meant they can't sign it in.
and not well lettered.
It's a very palatable and sophisticated way to say you can't read.
Yeah. I'll have to use that one a few times.
You know I'm not well lettered. It's very sophisticated.
Yeah, because a lot of people just ask me to write things for them. I have
They
to
say,
tell
you
them
know, I'm not
well lettered.
Oh, I forgot my glasses.
Yeah.
5 minutes left, Mr. P.
Yeah. So we say these things to provoke discussion. We didn't get a call today on that. And this we call straight politics, pure politics we're speaking. Although you notice we have not identified any political party because it's a requirement that is necessary in all political parties. If you have one or two scamp in a political party, your political party would survive, particularly if this one or two scamp not in the leadership position. But if you have 10 scamp in a political party, John be taken. If they are strong gamblers, if they on coke, if they have confusion where sex is concerned, if they are communists, if they are atheists, then you may vote a political representative and then you're shocked. Because that political representative is not doing a good job for you. That political representative, the quality of representation is excessively poor. And that decision is yours. Because the people deserve the government they have. We always have to remember that. You deserve the government they have. When you're choosing a political representative, that representative must answer questions. You must be able to ask the representative some questions. And sometimes asking your representative, do you believe in the death penalty? Because more poor people, children, they just hang. Always remember that you don't have the money to pay the lawyers to stretch the case. You don't have clout. It's your children are going in jail.
Yeah.
If that representative is a communist, then they go jail people who disagree with you. If you choose them in Grenada, you don't hear in Ontarget. The jail Ontarget long, and they threaten to kill Ontarget, and Ontarget to hide.
Yeah, but you look at the amount of people in jail in America, and you look at the President of the United States convicted on serious felony matters.
But then he appeal?
Yeah.
Well, the court system provides the opportunity for him to appeal. So a man is innocent unless proven guilty.
Yeah.
At least you could try the president.
Yeah,
you could try that in Cuba or China.
They try him and found him guilty.
Yeah, but somebody could try the president in Cuba or China. They can't. So in the United States, you could try Donald Trump and say, well, when the appeal case, if you lose, you're going in jail. You can't do that with Russia or Cuba. We have thousands of people in jail in communist countries.
Yeah.
And they're in jail without charge, without trial, without an opportunity to defend themselves. Because the representative are Marxists, Leninists, and communists. So we ask this question to provoke discussion. The quality of our political representative. We want you to ask yourself that.
Yeah.
And we thank you very much.
Let that man or woman be a person of integrity.
Like that. Let that man or woman be a person of integrity. Yes, a good note to end on, Joshua.
Spiritual issues too, agricultural, environmental, and trending to subject matter. We fear none, we back down. Freedom of speech is enshrined in the land.